you're a great guest for this because on top of all the other things, what you specialize in the business now is improving operations and making things more efficient. And you also talked about making a better customer service experience. And I think this is really good because some people don't realize that real estate, what you're doing is you're running a business. And when I tell people, you're not just buying a house and worrying about carpets, flooring, and paint. If you want to do one house, fine. But if you want to run things like a business, you take the emotions out and you put systems and processes in to make things run efficiently. Otherwise, you are going to be working for that business for the rest of your life. So let's touch on that first, because that's relevant to no matter what people are doing. Improving operations and putting systems and processes in place correctly, I think, is a huge thing. And then after that, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the customer service experience, but talk about like, what are operations? What do you look at? Because if you think about a house, the way you make a house worth more money is you decrease the expenses, you increase the income, and now it's increased in value. And when you look at businesses, I think some of the things you're talking about is people don't realize that this is a whole niche that people buy and sell businesses that seem to be on paper running fine, but they come in and they go, look, it could be doing so much better. And if you can find ways to run it smoother, decrease the expenses, increase the income, increase the morale, it will literally increase the value of the business just like it would with a house. So for people who are like, what the heck did you just say, Nick? Take it away, sir.
You said it, that overall, it's got to be as effective as possible. And that's efficient, that's high quality, that's a good curb appeal. It's putting it all together, right? It can't just be cheap. It can't just be high quality. You got to have that balance. So when you look at a rental property, or you look at walking in the front door of an academy, or if I walk through, my own business, it's got to be aesthetically pleasing, right? It's got to feel like, hey, I'm proud to be here. So that's one thing. And again, it doesn't matter how much the property costs, because proud to be here has different levels. For 50,000, you can still be proud to be there. It can still be well kept and maintained. And then from a system side, so after you make sure it looks good, because that's what we all look at first, right? Our eyes think first. Secondly, you have to have the right process, and processes around the CRM or the ERP that you're using, right? For those of you who don't know, like the database where you house your customers, the recurring billing, the ability to collect rent, the ability to track the maintenance that you do inside a property and understand how much you have into it. Same thing with your gym, right? The ability to understand what classes are busier, which classes are not. Do we have to shut down a certain class, or should we go hog wild and just add more classes, because if you build it, they will come, right? You have to have that mindset of understanding which approach you're going to take. It's also okay to make mistakes if you're starting small. So probably the difference between me and some others is, I know a lot of people will talk about, you have to have a goal. You have to have this big, hairy, audacious goal in mind, and everything you do needs to be focused on getting there. I'm kind of the opposite. I go into it for the journey, and I think about, okay, good, I'm going to get into real estate. I'm going to buy a $50,000 place, and I'm going to really enjoy this. And if I enjoy it, and if it's successful, I'm earning the right to get a $75,000 property. And if I enjoy that, if it's successful, I'm earning the right to get a $100,000 property. I'm using low numbers here, but that's truly how I feel. Same thing with jiu-jitsu, right? You can't just walk in and say, I want to be a black belt. We have people who will call our gym and they'll be like, yeah, I want to be a fighter. Will you sponsor me? I'm like, you know what? Why don't you try our cardio kickboxing class first? See if you can make it through that. Then do some jiu-jitsu. And maybe come throw some kettlebells around during our, in our fitness area. And let's just see if you got what it takes for one workout. I think a lot of people, they come into it with, if they don't get their black belt in 4 years, they're going to hate it and they're going to quit, or whatever it might be. And same thing with real estate, right? If you get one and you fail, do you hate it and quit? Or do you just figure out why you failed and come up with a better way? So you have to have first of all, the systems in place and the processes in place to then be able to look at data and understand what the data is telling you, what's working, what's not working. And even there, it doesn't mean you have this giant failure. Don't switch roads. You might just have to switch lanes. You might just have to tweak something, right? You just might have to tinker, figure out, maybe it's more no-gi during this time instead of gi. Maybe this class wants a mixed MMA class instead of just a gi class. Or maybe, wow, all the kids could come during this time. Let's shift our adults 1 hour later. Or let's do a kids and adult class together so that there's some time where they can, parent-child can be together. So I think it's a matter of, first of all, having your own system in place. How am I going to look at this? What steps am I going to take? Then having the right technology and processes in place, like automated billing, being able to gather data about what's happening, whether it's in the real estate or in the gym. Same with my acting, but being able to gather data about what's happening and then making decisions on what you need to change. Don't be so focused on pass or fail. Be focused on these little steps that get you there.